welcome also on my part to this first virtual user group meeting of INIT. This is, of course, something new for us. In the beginning, we thought, well, virtual user group meeting, we can just buy it in and use WebEx, and it will be very easy to do. But now I am looking at 12 technicians and experts here in this room, which are connected via many dozens of computers and screens and monitors to control of this. This is a very exciting topic for us too, and we try to do our best to get a good replacement of a normal user group meeting. News in a technology industry, there's a lot going on there, and at INIT usually there is much more going on too. And I would like to give you some insight, and we will focus on more of the other issues again.
Hey. Future of mobility. Well, where should it be? I've been asked to investigate exactly into this future of mobility. Who could help me? Well, Karlsruhe, technology region, Tech Karlsruhe. The boss is Jochen Igetz. Smart type. Does know a lot. Let's go there.
Hallo, Jochen.
Hi, Jochen.
Hallo Bernd.
Hi, Bernd.
Ich habe großen Auftrag.
I have the task to find the future of mobility. Well, if you ask me that directly, I believe that the future of mobility is here in the region of Karlsruhe. I think of the technology region of Karlsruhe, of the scientific bases like KIT, the University of Applied Sciences, and naturally I think of the companies which then implement these scientific findings, mobility systems, into praxis. Now, could you mention a name? Because I need a contact person. Sure. There are many, and one company is INIT. They are leading in many areas when it comes to public transport, service products worldwide. And it's one of our model companies which we have here in the technology region. Okay, let's go there. Now, I'm here at a stop in Karlsruhe. Hello, I'm Bernd, and who are you? I'm Andrew. Well, sometimes you don't have cash with you, and then it's good if you have an app, so you can pay cashless or contactless, and I find that very good. There might be a hand scan in future, where you just stretch your hand out and you pay with it. Super. If it works, good. Would you use it? In another city? Here, not? Yeah, somewhere else, yes, sure. So there are many ways to buy a ticket. Does it work? Yes. It's a bit difficult, yes, but okay. I know somebody who is Paul Quinn. He works at INIT. He is Business Development Director and absolute ticketing expert. And Paul, what do you say?
And that kind of really introduces what we've been doing in account-based ticketing. Account-based ticketing has really replaced the smart card and the older closed-loop systems. And this has been very interesting. I suppose for the last 6 or 7 years, we've been working with customers in Scandinavia, in the UK, North America, Australia, and New Zealand about a new dialogue. And account-based ticketing is really what people are using to deliver a digital or a digitized solution for their customers.
Yeah. So, Paul, INIT has started its or implementing its ABT solutions, account-based ticketing solutions, in Finland. The majority of the projects currently is in North America, especially in the US. What do you think is the main reason for that?
I think the main reason is slightly cultural, and that is how people like to pay for things. As we travel around the world, we use our credit or debit card. We might use our Apple Watch or our Google device. And the way we pay for things in our ordinary life is really becoming the way we want to pay for things in our public transport systems. And that's driving the change.
It's about mobility. You don't have to take care if it's a bus or a tram or a rental car, shared car, or a trolley or what else. You can have one ticket to use all public transport. I think this is the major benefit, especially in environments where you are not familiar with, and if you come to a new city, buy one ticket, use any mode of public transport, and be happy.
Yeah.
Karlsruhe soon will have its own little underground new platforms, accessible without barriers. But there are also people with other disabilities, blind, deaf, dumb. What else is here? What's new here? INIT is working on an app in Singapore, where Suvi is located, Suvi Schwab, a quite nice name, and this app has already been tested successfully.
We need to make public transportation inclusive with the use of innovative technology. So INIT's answer to this is assistive travel. What is it? Assistive travel is mobility assistance for impaired users, and it provides inclusive passenger information for the visually impaired, hard of hearing, and wheelchair users. Now, doesn't need to be this group only. You can very easily extend it to elderly, or for example, new moms with strollers, or for people with other physical disabilities. So it's very easily extendable. When we started this project, it was very important to us to develop it together with the focus group, and that's where we had this ongoing feedback loop with the focus group. There's another benefit to the INIT solution as well, not only that it was developed together with the focus group, but also that we have a two-way communication to the bus. So depending on your disability profile, certain functionalities can be triggered in the bus via the app as well. Now, there are a few disability-specific features. So when you first start the app, you choose your disability profile, and then depending on your profile, there are some features triggered. So for example, for wheelchair users, you will have a notification sent to the driver asking if there is space on the bus, and wheelchair space on the bus, and driver is able to say, for example, no, it's full, and then that wheelchair user will get a notification saying you may not be able to board because at the moment there is no space. For visually impaired, we have very simple navigation, and together with the text-to-speech functionality, virtual reality is disabled. Also, we have the maps are disabled, and then the virtual hailing that we talked about before is being triggered.
ÖPNV kostet Geld.
Public transport costs money, sometimes more and less. Where can you save? Where does things become more efficient? Do you always need the same numbers of trams? VBK operates on behalf of KVV. How do they get their money? Many questions to which even Wies has the answers. With the following presentation, I will answer some questions when it comes to the distribution of revenue and also increase of efficiency with statistic data, so statistic data-driven decisions. Well, we have two sections in my presentation. My first presentation, or the first part, is about the allocation of revenues with a project which we actually run with VBK and also the PT here in Karlsruhe. We prepare a certification which is necessary, that the allocation of revenues is based on passenger counting automatically.
So, jetzt mache ich mal das Ding hier
Well,
weg.
I just take this away. It looks really strange. I better have it hanging on my ear here. Well, there's kind of a congestion, many trams, one behind the other. What's happening here, I don't know. But, well, really, well, there is a control center.
Sehr komplex,
Very complex, but Jens Mulak, he really knows everything. And Jens, what can you tell us? What's new?
So what we have decided in order to make ITCS future-proof, we have decided to move it to a new architecture. And the new architecture, of course, is based on the latest software technology. In order to do that, I think we engaged a design company who did an assessment of several projects. They looked intensively at some control rooms and customers and how the systems are being used. And that not only in a German environment, but in an international environment in Europe and North America. And the main focus was on how dispatchers use the system and how a modern user interface design should look like. Thereafter, we did some workshops and followed up on developed a new GUI design, which is based on really making it very easy usable, more extended graphical screens, new colors, and easy one-click features. And another thing which was quite important for us is the implementation basis on our independence from the database technology, because at the moment, you might be aware we're using the Versant database technology, and albeit object-oriented databases. In the past, I was part of that thinking process myself, proved to be the future. SQL databases at the end have survived and are still industry standards. We also want to offer you the choice between different databases, and our current recommendation also that the system should come with from an INIT approved kind of database, and we build it at the moment on the license-free Postgres SQL database, also in order to offer more attractive license policies around the database side.
But of course, there's also time going on when it comes to hardware of the vehicles, and we know it all. Sometimes you want to have new applications, and the new applications want more performance, and then you have to upgrade. That's why the issue of hardware migration with regard to system evolution has to be looked at separately and specially. And this is now done by Andreas Mörder, Managing Director of INIT GmbH. Also on my part, today I would like to give you some more information which you not directly see when you are working with other products. For 20 years I've been working with INIT, and I have seen many hardware generations come and go. And I would like to give you some insight into what's behind this topic when we are also offering compatible devices as successors for our onboard computers. In conclusion, we try to have and provide spare parts for devices as long as possible, and INIT tries to develop compatible successors in order to allow smooth hardware migration. And with smooth hardware migration, you've got to change to update or to integrate your DVC, like a new user interface, new functionality, cellular communication, voice over IP, EMV payment, and integrate it into the system. This also applies to the central functions and features.
More and more people use public transport and still want to be flexible in their choice. Depending on the weather, you can decide which means of transport you could like to use. Bicycle, rented car, autonomous bus, tram or train, or even an e-scooter. And. There are many modes of transportation to get safely to your destination, and the experts here are Roxana Hess and Frank Pergel. First of all, what is mobility? I'm somewhere and want to get somewhere else, where I want to do something which I can't do where I'm now. And usually I use tram, but tram doesn't work today. But I have an app, a Regio Move app, and it tells me, dear Frank, I know you want to use the tram. We don't have the tram today available, but take a bike, a hired car or rented car. And it brings you also safely to the goal, and you can book it on one app. And I do it, weather is nice, I go to the bike station, take my next bike sharing, drive to the ride to the next mobility hub, use my car and go to work, and everything what I need and open the to open the bicycle is this one app in one account, and at the end of the day I get one bill. Why this project will be successful is that we have both accommodated and within the project. That means mobility service providers and also research projects and also other companies.
Die Elektromobilität. Wo sind die Herausforderungen?
Electromobility, where are the requirements? What about the advantages? Well, the future of mobility, really a difficult topic, for example, in buses. Many buses are still running in city centers on diesel engines. What about the challenges of electromobility? What do you do when it's hot? You have to you need air conditioning. Then you have less power for kilometers. When it's cold, you have to heat. That's a load on the battery. I don't know how many factors come up here, but I don't know that much. But there's an expert from the INIT, Arne Fendinger. He extra prepared himself for you today to talk about this. Armin, now it's up to you. It's your turn.
I would like to look into electromobility as a whole, what INIT offers in the different areas by the products we have.
Your summary, basically what you can say is that these modules which we have now for e-mobility are all modular. They can be used individually in heterogeneous landscapes or in existing system environments, but they supplement each other when being combined. This would be optimal in terms of data transfer or data integration. Also, scenarios can be defined by simulation. So we've got different company specifications, and so the optimum planning with regard to number of vehicles can be simulated. And locations of charging stations and charging strategies can be obtained, and staff and personnel. Most of the time what happens is that you need more vehicles when it comes to e-mobility, and also they are then tied through the personnel is tied to these vehicles, and so you know before how to optimize things. Mr. Schmitz also said it, hydrogen is also an issue here, and our systems can also be used for hydrogen or for combinations in order to calculate the mixed operation, e-mobility, hydrogen and diesel, and what else will come up. And this should not hinder us from looking at the integration of the systems. And all these costs are really important. And I think this is very essential. So thank you very much.
We had a broad range today covered. News from INIT, via digitalization, in PT, in public transport, accessibility, increase in efficiency in public transport, the new ITCS, automation of processes, hardware migration, connection in terms of Regio Move up to electromobility. All these are future topics, important topics, and all these topics require all of our efforts and work. There will be a time where we will remember this crisis, which we actually mastered together. For sure, we will tell stories about this to our children and grandchildren, because these children and grandchildren are the generations which we have to pass on a world where we can live in peace and freedom. And public transport is definitely part of creating such a world. Many tasks are before us to improve public transport, to make it more attractive, to increase service quality, to support people in their individual needs, and to get people into buses and trams. And even if at the moment private cars are seen as the safest means of transport, one thing is clear. If we want to avoid that cities and regions will actually have a traffic collapse, we will not be able to avoid this without public transport. It's the decisive factor in order to enable increased mobility in the future. We, as INIT, are prepared to support you in this. And in this mood, stay optimistic, stay with us, and stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much. You have noticed that there have been many things touched today, and the solution is here inside. Now we have seen and heard a lot about the future of mobility. It is impossible that one single person can handle or deal with it. You need partners for this, namely you. Thank you for joining us. One thing we can state, the best way to predict future is to create it. Bye-bye.